a grand plan, and we are moving on slowly, step by step, because it's easy to make a strong team, but it's very difficult to make a championship team.
Yo, what it do? Name is D-Bucks, you call me DB for short. Welcome to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. And welcome to the realm. Discussing how KD and Kyrie came at the perfect time to sign with the Brooklyn Nets, and why this is something that they've always needed and wanted for their franchise. In 2012, the owner of the New York Nets at the time was Prokhorov, a Russian businessman, who decided it was best to rebrand, get a new atmosphere for this team, and move them to New York.
I am very excited. As I already mentioned, when I saw 2 years ago a big hole in the ground, it was a dream for me what we see now. I think it's the best arena in the world, and what I like, we're bringing really a very good team worthy of this great arena and of the borough of the Brooklyn. And I am expecting a great rivalry with the Knicks here. Every team has inside a grand plan, and we are moving on slowly, step by step, because it's easy to make a strong team, but it's very difficult to make a championship team.
In his first year, the Brooklyn Nets came with some success, as they finished with a 46-36 record and made it to the NBA playoffs for the first time since the 06-07 season. Their last known highlight before 2012 was this Devin Hester half-court game winner. Even though they were in the playoffs, that didn't stop all the drama from pouring in, as the Brooklyn Nets fired their head coach before even 30 games were even played, with a record of 14-14. To quickly replace him was interim head coach PJ Carlesimo, who switched his team around. Another big help was ISO Joe, came in as their de facto leader alongside a young Brook Lopez, who averaged 19 points per game, and Darren Williams, who looked like he'd seen better days. Unfortunately, that only led them to a first-round loss to the Chicago Bulls. After that season, the Brooklyn Nets acquired Jason Kidd as their head coach, which was his first coaching position ever in the NBA. His coaching stint with the Brooklyn Nets was short, but we could all remember it for this one legendary clip.
If he gives you one on a miss, then you only need a two to tie with plenty of time to push in.
Did you miss that? See that again. This is something Greg Popovich couldn't even do. Look at the pure genius. Finesses a timeout by telling a player to hit him on purpose. I'd never seen such a big brain play. You see that? He's mouthing, "Hit me." Yes, Greg, I'll be mad too if I was getting out-coached by the great Jason Kidd. I don't know how you could beat something like that, Greg Popovich. I would be perplexed, confused, astonished, and downright just salty.
Popovich is livid.
By the way, they end up still losing that game to the LA Lakers. The same game where a 35-year-old Kobe Bryant dunks on Gerald Wallace and Chris Humphries.
He was looking for somebody to challenge him, and nobody came quick enough to stop it. Look at this finish, though. Forget almost, I hate to say it, at his age, you forget how quick he still is and how explosive.
This is also the same year where Billy King, the Brooklyn Nets executive, made the worst trade in NBA history, as Billy King traded for a 36-year-old Paul Pierce, a 37-year-old Kevin Garnett, and Jason Terry. Yes, that Jason Terry.
Celtics as a team shooting 67%. They're 20 of 30 here tonight. Jason Terry, good defense. Wade from behind takes it away. Chalmers, Cole, James! Whoa!
Out of the mezzanine to dunk this ball. Just watch as they lay it up there. Watch this. Woo! That's sending it down with some power.
The best this Nets squad could do was make it to the second round, where they eventually did lose to Miami 4-1. This Nets team was expected to be a tough challenge for Miami as they swept them 4-0 in the regular season series, which means nothing when you are playing against the defending champs at the time, and of course, LeBron James in playoff mode. Two different type of beasts. After that, the Nets became a joke and became a laughingstock, going from a championship hopefuls to a lottery team again. So after they fired PJ Carlesimo after taking him to the playoffs for the first time since that 06-07 season, and they hired Lionel Hollins, who was just the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies, who made it to the Western Conference Finals that year before getting fired. He made no improvements to this team, as they did worse without PJ Carlesimo. They didn't make the playoffs for the 2 years that they had him as a head coach. But everything changed with the hiring of Kenny Atkinson. 2016 was by far the best year for the Brooklyn Nets, as they were able to draft Caris LeVert via trade, able to get Joe Harris, one of the best three-point shooters in the league, able to get Spencer Dinwiddie, who has risen up to his production and has made himself a viable backup point guard in this league. They have also got D'Angelo Russell from a trade with the Los Angeles Lakers, which ended up getting them Lonzo Ball, and Jared Allen. You remember that, Jared Allen, the one who did this to LeBron.
The Lakers want to do. They're going to run the ball. They're going to push the pace. Big old block by Jared Allen.
All of it. He got all of that ball. There was no dispute right there.
Lakers get it in. Push shot Kuzma.
That's a great block, but I think we've seen one on LeBron James that's even greater than that.
Driving out Hezonja. Hezonja with the block. And the Knicks on a 13-1 run come back and defeat the Lakers. 124 to 123.
No offense to Jared Allen, but it's hard to outperform that, you know. One of the greatest blocks of all time. Simply put, just one of the greatest blocks of all time. But let's go back to how the Nets made the perfect rebuild for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. How the players they drafted and they traded for are perfect position players, great shooters, great shot blockers that every team would need, and they all mesh well together. Perfect chemistry that we see needed on a championship level team. And they couldn't have gotten there without the help of Kenny Atkinson, who developed and formed a unique bond with his team, as we see in the clip. How everybody was motivated and wanted to work together, and it led to their playoff appearance and upsetting, at least game one, the heavy favorites Philadelphia 76ers. It was fun while they lasted, but it was a perfect time for them to rebuild and reconquer this championship mentality that they always had. The Nets rebuilt so fast and learned from their past mistakes as they kept their young assets and made good coaching decisions with the hiring of Kenny Atkinson. With developing this young cast, they have opened themselves up for another championship run with a new feel and same mentality. They can redeem this move that Prokhorov wanted to do since 2012 with a generational talent like Kevin Durant, like Kyrie Irving, and hiring a coaching staff that they are comfortable with that hiring of Steve Nash, first time as a head coach, Mike D'Antoni as assistant coach, and Mari Stoudemire developing the young cast. Everything is going their way, at least on paper, of what KD and Kyrie Irving want. So far, this looks like a heavy NBA championship favorite. I wouldn't be surprised if they did eventually win one in the 4 years that they have together. Well, now 3 years since they both missed out last season. So that's it from the Brooklyn Nets rebuild and how they fit Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant perfectly, as they have the perfect positions that they would need: a good shot blocker, a good wing player, and a specialist from three, and a backup point guard. They have everything they need to succeed because of the perfect rebuild of the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to achieve something that they've always wanted since 2012 when they moved to Brooklyn: the elusive yet gratifying NBA championship. So that'll be all for today, bro. Make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to comment on what do you think about the Brooklyn Nets and their possible championship run. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.